Today, we're looking at a farmer producer company that started out facing this huge wall of skepticism from its own community. So, how did they not only win them over, but go on to build a business with a multi-million rupee turnover in just a few years? Let's break down the blueprint of F4FRESH. So, let's just start with a number that makes you sit up and pay attention. An annual turnover of 50 to 60 lakh rupees. For an organization that's pretty young, that is just a phenomenal achievement. This success story comes to us from the F4FRESH Farmer Producer Company, or FPC, and they're based in the Pathanamthitta district of Kerala. They are a really powerful example of what can happen when you mix traditional farming with a super modern, tech-savvy business mindset. But to really get how they succeeded, we've got to rewind to the very beginning. Because, like any new venture, they were facing a major and very human challenge. If you look at their own documents, the single biggest hurdle wasn't funding, it wasn't technology, it was a basic lack of awareness and trust among the very farmers they were trying to help. And that's a classic problem for collectives, right? So, this brings up that critical question that so many new organizations have to ask. When you've got a great idea, how do you build that essential trust? How do you create momentum right from the ground up and turn all that skepticism into actual participation? Well, F4Fresh tackled this thing head-on with a really clear multi-part strategy. And it all began with building a solid, credible foundation for their company. Okay, now what's really cool here is their funding model. They got an initial investment of 600,000 rupees. But look at this breakdown. They smartly blended 190,000 rupees of their own money with 410,000 in institutional support. This did two things. It gave them skin in the game, and it gave them external validation right from day one. Really smart. And this right here breaks down their core pillars. They just formed in 2022, but they quickly grew to 302 members. Now, a key part of their whole strategy was getting local youth involved, tapping into their digital skills and fresh ideas. But critically, they decided not to just sell raw produce. They focused on a specific value-add strategy, creating these high-demand vacuum-dried products like jackfruit, which last longer and can sell for a much better price. So, okay, they had the structure, but how did they solve that big awareness problem we mentioned earlier? Well, this is where their strategy gets really, really interesting, because they used technology as a bridge to the community. You see, they knew that technology wasn't just some extra feature. It was the essential tool they needed to create a modern, dedicated marketing platform. This was their direct answer to overcoming that farmer skepticism by building a professional and easy-to-access way to connect with both their producers and their customers. And here's exactly how they did it. This table shows their brilliant hybrid approach. They didn't just throw out what was already working, so they kept selling in local markets. But they combined that with direct-to-consumer sales and, this is the crucial part, a strong digital presence on social media and other online platforms. This whole multi-channel strategy just maximized their reach and really helped build their brand. All right, so we've seen the strategy. Now let's look at the payoff. Let's see how all of this translated into real, measurable results and the professional credibility they were after. The numbers here, they really speak for themselves. You're looking at their initial investment of 6 lakh rupees right next to their annual turnover of 50 to 60 lakh. That's almost a tenfold return. It just demonstrates a highly effective and obviously profitable model that would get anyone's attention. But here's a really crucial point. This wasn't just about making sales. To build that lasting trust in the market, they totally professionalized their operations. They committed to getting high-quality certifications, like those from FSSAI and ISO. This sends a clear signal to both farmers and buyers that, hey, we are a serious, reliable business. So what can other farmer-producer organizations, or FPOs, learn from all this? Well, F4Fresh is actually presenting their whole journey at the upcoming Viga 2026 seminar, and we've kind of distilled their success into what is basically a blueprint for other groups to follow. And here it is. This is the core takeaway, a 4-step model for growth, and it's based directly on what F4FRESH did. 1. Get diverse funding for credibility. 2. Focus on a specific value-add product. 3. Bring in the youth for new ideas and energy. And 4. Adopt a modern, multi-channel marketing platform. It's a powerful and, more importantly, a replicable roadmap. And they're not stopping there. Their vision is, and I quote, to develop advanced technologies in farming and marketing, which kind of leaves us with a final, forward-thinking question. As groups like F4FRS find success, are we actually seeing the blueprint for the future of farming, not just in Kerala, but everywhere?